we ended up losing commentary because computer settings, but I was able to salvage the footage. So, for once, we're doing this in post. But the good thing about post, I can cut past mistakes.
And this will be a good test for post recordings because there were certain certain games I wanted to do at some point, but I kind of wanted to do them in post, but that's for later.
Post is not that hard, I just need to sync commentary.
Uh-huh.
So, we're just watching a raw version of the video, just talking over it.
Yeah.
It's just easy enough.
There are small pauses in the footage because we're sitting there talking. It's like, for here...
There's almost no small pauses in the footage because I cut past a lot of nonsense in this.
Because here we were doing the...
we were trying to show the minigame to
because you get figures for doing everything around 100%, so while the minigame is technically competitive, it's just, let's just, instead of trying to do it competitively, we just set it basically in place and give the appropriate food.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing about that is I end up winning, like, the first round because the max and tomato is higher value, but I believe you end up ending the last round because you set on the side with the more valuable things. Because
the way the multiplayer works, you are technically competing, but you're in a team, and it averages. And this is the one good thing about a post-commentary recording. It's easier to cut around mistakes.
Yeah.
But the problem with post-commentary is trying to sync up initially, which is why I'm gonna have to move the tracks around a little bit. It's not gonna be that hard to sync everything. And then you unlock the middle and the hard mode, so we can actually talk about the freaking game for once. I just wanted to sit down and get this done. The other thing is I can't speak. It's funny about doing post. This recording has a lot of us just being absolutely morons, and it actually gives me a good excuse to cut past some of the gratuitous failing miserably at shit as we go. There's going to be a few post commentary parts, which is fine. Also lets us focus on some other shit, because instead of using the commentary we talked about at the time, which was mostly just focusing on miscellaneous unlocks and some blind reactions to some shit.
And a few points about the Kirby itself, because we're recording this relatively close-ish to the game launch.
Yes. Not this post-commentary, fuck no. Hanging out at a weird-ass morning hour, because we couldn't record earlier, because 4th of July fireworks. So we're up at like 5 in the morning.
Not just 4th of July fireworks. 4th of July fireworks in the South.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's at least slightly more focused a little bit, and I don't inherently mind that. Because while live commentary can be fun, it is a bitch and a half, sometimes cutting around us talking.
No.
So this is literally Kirby, just the good parts. Speaking of just the good parts.
Because don't we fuck up the first... Didn't we fuck up the, like, first hard mode of this minigame?
Yeah. But you'll notice I edited out the failure. So no, we didn't fail. Video says otherwise, there is no failure. I just cut the loading screens together, no one would notice if we didn't point that out. That was a 1 frame edit since the loading screen.
They no one would notice if we point that out, but I do wonder if people looked at that video in it, like, basically in an audio program or whatever, people would notice for like 1 second of dip like they do for spliced speedruns.
The loading screen between the minigames has no audio.
So what you're saying is we could fake a speedrun and no one would notice.
The loading screen between the minigames had no audio. I tried to make sure an audio sync wasn't that awkward. And I noticed, oh, the loading screen doesn't have audio. So I just cut to the successful. Oh yeah, that's the one I won.
Because, like I said,
Yeah.
you were sitting on the side with
There we go.
Where's the more valuable crap?
Had a couple of failed attempts there, but you know. No, we're going. Again, and this is why post isn't that bad, because I could just take the footage of us failing horribly and just cutting straight to, you know, this. It's the cafe, staff Kirby, which you get specifically for playing the minigames.
Then you also, at some point, can get, if you buy stuff in the cafe, get the cafe, like, owner or Waddle OD. I do that later. That's what the, like, walking around was doing, was basically...
I left in certain walking around so we could make greater points,
well,
but...
because at the time it was me walking around basically...
pointing out what we would be grabbing.
Because they pointed out to, like, get 100% figures, you need to use, like, those internet codes.
And then I wanted to show you can get on the roof and get a coin, and then you can actually use his chimney as an entrance. And you end up in the Kirby house.
Yeah.
And you can light the chimney, but we just show the entrance, grab the coin, and we're walking around.
And if we... Okay, if you brought up the lighting the chimney, I believe I go grab hammer. There's my boy.
It's post-commentary, but I had to leave some shit in because we were showing off secrets.
Yeah.
But the one advantage to doing it this way is I can cut past failing at stuff, and that's not that bad, because you get,
Yeah, get the right point.
the bonus money.
Yeah.
So I left that in.
Yeah.
I edited this where I just cut past us failing at stuff. Which works out beautifully, because this level coming up, we missed a lot of crap, so I just cut around in a way that makes enough sense. This video is literally confined to just one level. And showing you checking shit, because I didn't want people getting lost with... If I cut too much, it would just look weird. So I do make sure... Oh! Which does give me an opportunity to talk about something that at the time we didn't show off because I didn't know was a mechanic.
What?
Something you can do in this level. The big snowballs, Kirby can eat the snowball in its entirety, and you can spit it out, and it's unique because eating it, he'll spit out the entire snowball, and if you try to consume it, you can get ice power. It is like one of the only times in the game that you can actually get a power without eating an enemy. They actually accounted for the snowballs giving you ice. So, this first part is us running through the level blind, trying to find stuff. And let me tell you now, we missed a lot of crap, but it's those snowballs. You can eat the snowballs.
I swear I try eating one of those at some point in this world and it doesn't work.
So, I mean, at least we salvaged the footage, otherwise I'd be real tilted.
Well, okay, to be fair with the footage, we could technically replay and show...
You know what I mean.
And show shit again, it just... we just wouldn't get certain cutscenes and all of the tasks would be, like, done. Yeah. And same with the, like, the cafe, we would just have to do the mini-games again after beating the mini-games we showed.
If anyone's wondering why our commentary is missing, whenever Windows updates, it resets mic settings a lot. And my mic settings got reset and didn't save properly. And it caused OBS to not record the mic correctly. But the thing is, what it did record was the game capture. So I have the game footage, and you can see the footage is fine. And what's always funny about OBS to me we're watching the video on YouTube just privately, and none of the weird skipping errors that come up in editing are ever seen in the actual finished video. So, we're reacting to a video on YouTube, just...
You know you hit rock bottom when you react to your own content.
Yeah, this content sucks.
Because this is a post, something I wanted to talk about in this, because I remember trying to make this point somewhere in this.
We'll have several videos to make points, just try not to...
I remember trying to make this point in this world, because this was around the time the game had come out. We were talking at least a little bit about how I feel like a lot of people, and now that we're months from since the game has come out, I feel this is sort of gotten even worse. People sort of overhyped Forgotten Land because it was 3D, because we've talked about, I swear I've said this.
We have variants of what you tried to talk about, but now we can actually focus entirely on, because this footage is not...
And because of that, later...
We're not actually playing the game, this is talking over the footage we did capture.
And later on, the post footage, we'll probably try to make a few of the same points, but I feel...
Yeah, might as well use the advantage now. The game was overhyped in a lot of ways, because the game... It's the problem I have with a lot of series and long-running games and shit, where a entry into a series basically results in love or hate based on arbitrary nonsense. Like, this Kirby game was fundamentally seen as amazing, because it was a 3D Kirby game, and it's sort of the Breath of the Wild effect.
Not just a 3D Kirby game. I don't know if I should call this the Skyward Sword effect or the Polygon effect. It was a 3D Kirby game after the dumb, brainless baby game that was Star Allies.
Yeah.
So it's not only that it was 3D, it's because it was the exact opposite of the last game that came out, and that's why I call it the Skyward Sword effect, because everyone overhyped Skyward Sword for being a non-linear game.
You mean Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. Everyone,
No, everyone hated Skyward Sword for being the linear game for dumb babies, and thought Breath of the Wild was like the coolest shit ever, because, Breath of the Wild was like, it's an open game, and they're finally back to the open, game design that started the series. This is the greatest game ever. But I've said on and off, and we have a Let's Play of Breath of the Wild where I kind of say my piece that no, I don't think it's a good game. And the reason I don't think Breath of the Wild is a good game is because, and this is a clear time to talk about this actual point, and that is basically Breath of the Wild is an open, non-linear game, but open and non-linear is just inherently flawed in my opinion, because I like games that are scaled properly.
We were pausing to check the house.
Yeah, and I also left this in for a minute anyway, where we were checking the task, and we actually had a long discussion point here, and I had just kind of left this in, but I could actually, if I wanted to, in the post, cut past all of this and get straight back to the actual video, because this was
another small part of
which I might do.
Another small part of that might have been one of us had to go use the bathroom. But anyway...
Oh, wait! No, I remember what that was, and why that accidentally got left in the video.
What?
That's when I... Remember, I started, coughing, profusely. And because I was coughing, you were actually talking, because you were making a singular point to what we were actually making now, funny enough, which is fine. In the other version, if I need to, paradoxically, I could just cut past that, but I might leave that little small dip in.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah, it wasn't. When I was editing this, I forgot about double checking for little shit like that, which is fine anyway, but like, open games fundamentally to me are incredibly flawed just because of the way open games are designed. And this game, now, unlike Breath of the Wild, I don't hate this Kirby game, but
because they didn't do open world.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people thought they would.
We're going to. This is just a slightly Mario 3D World-esque 3D Kirby game. But I think the Kirby game is fine. Breath of the Wild I don't like, and ultimately to try to not harp on this point too much so I don't bleed into my in-slate that long, it's basically, in the Kirby, we have ultimately what is a pretty good game, but I agree with what Curzon was trying to say, where I feel it was overhyped, simply because it's not the game that preceded it, and I do get tired of, the games that precede other games often getting love or hate, and this can go into, like, a rant we've had on and off, which is Star Fox Zero was basically, everyone wanted a return to a formula like Star Fox 64, and then we get Star Fox Zero, and then all of a sudden people complain that it's too much, like Star Fox 64, or certain people would complain that it's not enough because a lot of people really did automatically hate the game because of the gyro and shit, and not give the game a fair fucking try. And that really does bother me, because I think fundamentally that a lot of games, and this is, you know, a controversial opinion that we've often had, where I've had to stop because of other nonsense. This was Carson attempting to get secrets.
Yeah, so you're gonna, right.
I really do feel like, in a modern sense, especially now more than a lot of cases, what shapes a video game is literally the, like, circumstances of the year it comes out and what preceded it. Because I fundamentally feel like...
Which is why I'm calling it and now, and I feel like I'm going to be very right on this, in a singular effect, because Scarlet and Violet is finally going to be open world, and is again coming after the dumb baby game that was Sword and Shield. Scarlet and Violet are going to be jerked off at the beginning as the best Pokemon game ever because of how open and non-linear it is, and how many like Pokemon you can use, how many choices you
have, and all this other shit.
It
just what you were saying, I said, and just all this other shit on how...
People are going to probably overhype how open and non-linear it is, and how much freedom that gives you, and how that also lets Pokemon finally be hard again, because you can, if you want to, go and fight, like, over-level Pokemon, or something, and that, you know, be the challenge, because you're fighting, like, something that's level 60 or whatever. But then, it's like Breath of the Wild. After people have time with it, people are going to realize the problems with the open design, which are most likely going to be the game is going to have no fucking story, and the game's level curve is most likely going to be terrible, because everything is either going to flatline after a certain point to compensate for the open, or it's just going to fucking zigzag and jump around.
Which was my problem with Breath of the Wild.
And then everyone's going to suddenly hate Scarlet and Violet and say that they want the series to go back to being linear, which if you do, you have no fucking right to be ever walking around like idiots trying to find.
I left a lot of this in just because I wanted to, like, show how deeply we explored before getting a freaking move on, because that also let us have some ramble time, because I knew we would try to hold certain points. After the level is over, is basically just back-to-back cutting of...
Yeah, this should be the super cut of finding shit.
No, that is basically what this... Well, it will be. I know for a fucking fact that's what this is, because I was doing that... I've had similar thoughts about, like, Breath of the Wild comparisons for, like, Scarlet and Violet, because I feel like for 5 minutes it's gonna be, like, the greatest Pokemon game ever before...
Everyone's going to overhype it, but then realize the fundamental design problems with non-linear design. Not only that, I feel like everyone is going to overhype how hard it is because of you being able to, like, go anywhere, like I said, and stumble into an area with, like, level 60 Pokemon or whatever. But then people will complain that the game is too easy, because people will find a, like, high-level Pokemon that can't touch them. Like, this is the example I always use. I believe Garchomp only gets, like, ground and dragon moves via level up. Meaning if you have, like, a Toga, even Togetic is part flying, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, if you have, like, a Togetic, I'm pretty sure a, like, wild Garchomp, unless they started giving them, like, TMs after a certain point, could it hurt you? So you could just go grind those things for experience, especially if the game has the, you know, modern experience share where everything gains experience, and then suddenly everyone is going to complain that the game is too easy because the openness let them do this.
Coming up on the end soon, which is why I'm trying to... That is part of the other reason I left in some awkward dead airs to give us extra rambling time. Because there's the last of the boys. And then I just hard cut to multiple secrets and shit. And this one dumb editing joke that I fucking had to do that's coming up in a second, which was just me doing one fucking funny thing just because it was just something stupid that got a chuckle out of me.
I have no idea what this would be.
You wouldn't, because
I don't remember asking for this.
No! I had to.
Why did you edit in the...
Alley Secret!
Motherfucker.
That and I wanted to do this.
Alley Secret, you motherfucker.
Just out of sight! Alley Secret! Because we found the secret alley. I'm just using that part of the song. That's the only reason. This is how my brain works at like 4 in the morning. Okay, you have to admit that's funny. Cause I skipped to the part just out of sight. Alley Secret. Cause we had the... What? And then here's a hard cut for the snowmans. That was also cool as hell. I grabbed the first snowman with the beam. When I said fucking hard cuts, I mean fucking hard cuts. End of the video is coming up in a minute. I'm proud of that one. If anyone's wondering what the song's from, it's part of a song from River City Girls. But because the specific lyrics to that one part I used was the just out of sight alley secret, because it is just out of sight.
Wait, 4 is cool enough for that shouldn't be claimed, right?
The raw-ass video we're watching doesn't have any claims on it.
Wait, is the River City Girls music on Spotify?
I don't think.
If it's on, like, Spotify or something, if it's claimed, that's an automated bot claim.
It's just part of it, and then it cuts to the Inslate, so we can...
Yeah, we can stop then.
I left a little bit of Inslate, because I thought we might go overtime. So, I'm gonna cut to my question of the day. Next time we end up recording more post-commentary, it will be picked up roughly where we left off. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later. Here comes my insight question. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So anyway, how was the editing in this part? I'm asking because this was our first real attempt at doing post commentary, so I wanted to make sure my editing was fine. I edited the part in advance, we watched it without the commentary, and then I synced the commentary up to the part. If my editing is a little bit off, let me know, because I've never done post-commentary, but if my editing is fine, also let me know, because I'm trying to make sure my editing seems okay. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.